Good afternoon, and welcome to a webinar training series on Microsoft Teams, the first one that we're putting out. We have discovered that Microsoft Teams is an option that we already have in our suite of digital tools to host meetings, both internally and externally to the organization, similar to a Zoom or a GoToMeeting or a WebEx. We can do all of that through Microsoft Teams. The more I learn about Microsoft Teams, the cooler I find it, but for right now, we're going to start with how to host a meeting. So I do have a test meeting, as you see, on my calendar here, and we'll walk you through how to set one up, and then we'll go into the test meeting to show what it looks like. This is the version of Teams that is downloaded onto the computer. So this is not the web version of Teams. So you can download Teams onto your laptop. You can download it onto your phone. You can download it onto your desktop. It uses the username and password that is the same as your email. With the Children's Study Home, we all have a Teams account, so your username and your password. And you sign in and you get to Teams, which looks like this. And today we're going to focus on simply the calendar tab, which is your Outlook calendar. So when you click on it, you'll see everything that's on your Outlook calendar. We'll talk about some of the other functions later. So if you wanted to schedule a meeting, you would go to your calendar in Teams and you would hit New Meeting. Let's say we want to do a treatment team meeting for Batman. And under required attendees, maybe we want mom@gmail.com. So we're going to invite mom. And then it's important to have dad@gmail.com. So we're going to invite dad. And there's a DCF person at gmail.com. So we are going to invite them. Now, I am obviously not going to click send because I don't know if there are actually people at mom@gmail.com, dad@gmail.com, etc. But what you will find is that they are going to get an invite to a Teams meeting at 5 p.m. on May 12th, lasting until 5:30 p.m. And just like in Zoom, just like in WebEx, when they open that email, they are going to see a link to join the meeting. So let's go into an actual meeting that I have set up. So on your calendar, let's go back one step. So on your calendar, the meeting will show up. And when the meeting is happening, this little join button will show up on your calendar. You can hit join. This is called the test meeting. We want to use our webcam. We don't want to use a fancy background. We want to use our microphone. So I'm going to hit join now, which is going to connect me to the room. Now right now it's empty because I didn't invite anyone to this meeting, so it's just me. But if there were other folks that were coming, we would see little boxes pop up down here that they've requested to come into the meeting. The meeting it's an end-to-end connection, so you have to approve them as they come in, which is a nice security feature built into Microsoft Teams to eliminate any issues with Zoom bombing or things like that. So as folks try to join, you'll see a little pop-up that says, you know, so-and-so is in the waiting room. Would you like to admit them to your meeting? And then you can click yes or no. Just like Zoom, it will show you the list of attendees. Currently, I am the only one. We can invite more people to a meeting in progress. That's totally fine. There is also the sidebar chat conversation, similar to as in Zoom and WebEx and all of those things. We can share. So if you click share as a part of a meeting, we have a whole ton of options here, right? So I can share my computer screen with the folks that are in the meeting. I could share a file. We could download a file to them. We could use Microsoft Whiteboard, which would allow us to sort of just write on the screen and share with each other. So there's a lot of really cool features under the share. This turns the camera off. This turns your microphone to mute. And then there are a couple of other really fun options. We could do some background effects. Like, let's say I wanted to have my meeting, what does this look like? This looks like the beach, maybe. There we go. I could have my meeting on the beach, or I could have my meeting in front of some really cool balloons. All of these things are options. When the meeting is over, just like on Zoom, just like on WebEx, you hang up, and boom, the meeting has ended. What is also really cool about using Microsoft Teams is it does provide some background information. It says that I joined the meeting, that it started at 4:16, that it ended at 4:17. So there's some timing related to that. If we were to have taken notes during the meeting, anything that we do on the whiteboard would have been there. If we wanted to share files during the meeting, all of those things, it would all be recorded here in the chat function, labeled with the meeting that we called it. So I called it a test meeting. And what's nice is that this link can stay active, it can stay live, so the conversation can continue after the meeting is over. But again, that's getting into some fancy things, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But I think it's just important for folks to know that Microsoft Teams, we do have the capability of hosting meetings exactly like Zoom, exactly like WebEx. The user on the other end does not need to download any specific software. When they respond to the meeting, when they try to join the meeting, they can use a web portal just like you can on Zoom, just like you can on WebEx. So I think that this is going to work out great. If you have any questions, please don't forget to let me know, and happy teaming.